Good night, everyone. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. So go ahead and put the questions in the comments so that I may answer your questions. Let me formally introduce myself. I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I come on here every night to take your questions. So if you have a U.S. immigration related question, you can go ahead and put that question in the comments right now so that I may answer your question. So I usually come with a topic to talk about, and tonight I'm going to talk about Vawa. Vawa is a way that if you are in the United States and you are being mistreated by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, if you're being mistreated, if you're under 25 and thanks so much for sharing the live there. If you're under 25 and you're being mistreated by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident parent, or even if you're the parent of a U.S. citizen who's 21 and up and they have been or are mistreating you, then there is a way to apply for permanent residence on your own. And I want to dedicate the time tonight to talk about that. How can you do this? Now, here's what a lot of people think. A lot of people have the misconception that Vawa, which is applying for permanent residence based on abuse or extreme cruelty, is you only qualify for it if you have been physically harmed or if the police got involved. And that is not the case. Now, abuse comes in many different forms. Mistreatment, extreme cruelty comes in many different forms. Land Ref, thanks for the share. And Asima-7, thanks so much for the share. Appreciate that. Now, it comes in different forms. And so if you are in a situation, you feel trapped, you are being emotionally harmed, you're being verbally abused or mistreated, even financially, there is this way. Now, a lot of times individuals say to me, well, I don't have any evidence to show that I was being abused. And yes, we all know that, including the Vawa unit that determines these types of applications. They are well aware of the fact that individuals don't usually call the police for verbal abuse, or they don't usually call the police if they are being emotionally abused. And so, but abuse is abuse. And so in cases like this, there are other ways that they accept evidence to show the mistreatment. And so this, as long as you can provide believable or credible evidence, then that is enough to be able to qualify for this form of relief. Missed topic on immigration avenues without family. So that is a big one. And so if you don't have family, then there is employment. The employment is a narrow option, though, just because you do have to meet the qualifications. So what do you qualify for? What are your credentials? Who's the employer that's applying for you? These then now would be the questions that you have to ask. Now, I don't know where you're from, but I do like to talk about the lottery for the green card. So if you have no family, no employer, no humanitarian ways to obtain permanent residence in the United States, then the lottery for the green card is one way. But not everyone qualifies for this. Certain countries do, citizens of certain countries do qualify for it. And it is worth checking it out to see if this could be an option for you. It just depends on where you're from, though. You can go to the Department of State where you can see how you could sign up. And if you sign up, it opens up, I believe, every October on the Department of State's website. And if you are selected, you have a chance over the next year to obtain permanent residence. Now, Shashram Mapar. If you are in a situation where you have an employer, then that could be an avenue. Even if you don't have an employer, but this is something you're thinking about, you should start with a consultation, because that is going to be the best way that you're going to determine your options, especially when it's so broad. You know, you don't have family, but what other ways do you qualify? Other ways to qualify without family would be through an employer, would be through humanitarian. So for example, have you received asylum? Are you the victim of a crime? Are you the victim of trafficking? Or the lottery for the green card. If you are the citizen of a country, that qualifies for it. So keep your questions coming. Hi Jay Hind, it's nice to see you. Thanks so much for saying hi. I am good, and I hope you're doing well as too. So go ahead and keep putting those questions in the comments. Tonight I'm talking about Vawa. My friend is from Tanzania. We were told if he have $1 million, he can get residence. So I believe what they're talking about is the EB-5. So the EB-5 is the investor's immigrant visa. And so if you have at minimum 500,000 and then you know, up to 900, so 500,000 or 900,000, which is almost $1 million, you could possibly qualify. But it has to be a qualifying investment. And so this is going to be, you know, whether you qualify is really going to depend on what kind of investment, where is the money coming from, how fast can you invest, or how much can you invest. And so it's very important in this case to definitely get a consultation. So yes, there is this way, and you can obtain permanent residence through investment in the United States. So that's what it is. I received a letter from the USCIS, and it said that they're reviewing my application. What does that mean? So it doesn't sound like they said much. Sometimes when they send you a receipt notice, they say no, they accepted your application. Hi there, Queen just said, thanks for saying hi. They are saying that sometimes they send you a notice saying they've received your application and they're now reviewing it. Unless there's something more, it usually just means exactly that. Ma'am, can we apply for citizenship while on waiting for a 2-year conditional green card? So Jay Hind, yes, that could be a possibility, definitely. There are ways to apply for citizenship, and what they'll usually do is they will adjudicate. So they'll process your 2-year at the interview. So first they'll review if your 2-year, changing your 2-year to a 10-year is still pending. They'll review it and then make a decision on that, and then move on to your citizenship application. If this is something that you want to determine whether you qualify for, definitely give me a call, schedule a consultation, and we can talk about it. You can go to the link in my bio. It'll take you to the website where you can call. There's a scheduling coordinator who's available up until 11 p.m. to take your call. So you can go ahead and do that just because that option is definitely available. Hi there, Yatin Patel. Hi, thanks for saying hi. If you have a question, go ahead and have a citizen mom and sister. Can I apply for work permit? So it really depends on whether you qualify for permanent residence through your mom and sister. How old are you? If you're under 21 and you have a citizen mother, you came in with permission, yes, you could possibly qualify for a work permit while applying for adjustment of status. Through your sister, not so much, because that process is taking 14 years. So Sarah, you're 35. So unfortunately, in this case, if you're 35 and you don't have status in the United States, you wouldn't qualify for the work permit because you wouldn't qualify to adjust status in the United States. But if you do want to still consider your options to get permanent residence eventually, you should really schedule a consultation and we can talk about the waiver process. Applying for a waiver could allow you to get forgiveness for your overstay and then allow you to attend the interview in your home country just for the purposes of getting the immigrant visa to come right back. This is in some cases this is the only option, and so you want to make sure that you do a personal consultation for me to evaluate your particular circumstances and determine whether you qualify, and to help you decide whether this is something. At Jam Dong 96, it's $150 for up to an hour. Now, it is well worth it because you walk out of this consultation knowing what you qualify for, you know how to approach your situation, whether you have been on the right track, you avoid mistakes. And so for $150, it sure is worth it when you're avoiding expensive mistakes in the future, expensive personally, expensive financially, expensive in regards to costing you your a future in the United States. So that is what I always like to say. So let's see, Yatin Patel, what is the processing time for I-130? I still haven't received anything, just accepted letter. So we're looking at processing times that are going over 1 year now. So if you haven't heard anything, you're not alone. Many people are in that boat right now where the processing time is going over a year to get decisions on that I-130. So hang tight, check on your case, make sure that there's nothing pending, like there's a request for evidence that you didn't get. Make sure you're getting all the correspondence. So yours is over a year and many are going over the year. So just check on your case, make sure that there's nothing that they want from you that is holding up the process. You could also check case processing times, and if your case is over the processing time, you could possibly do a case inquiry, and sometimes that does get it moving along. Hi there. Hubby took his biometrics last month. Oh, perfect. Thanks for letting us know. And you know, that in itself is a celebration, just because the biometrics appointments are taking very long. And so so it says 1 week to 7 months. And so in this case, if you would like to figure out your options to determine how to move, put an inquiry into your case, you can definitely schedule a consultation. But there are ways to put in a case inquiry if it's over your case processing time, to figure out what is going on and to give them a nudge. Sometimes this does give them a nudge to continue processing your case. Shelley Johnson, thanks for the follow. How many visa extensions are you allowed in the United States? So when you are here, you are allowed to do that one visa extension. 2 weeks later, we got appointment for interview on August 31st. Oh, nice. Perfect. So good luck on your interview. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you gather all your documents. And make sure you two talk so you're on the same page about basic information, of course, but one person in the relationship is always blurry about dates and when you met and anniversaries even. So just make sure you touch base about that. Birthdays, anniversaries, routines, things of that nature. And bring your documents. Make sure you bring your civil documents. Make sure you bring your evidence to the interview. What happened if USCIS lost my file N400 paper file? They canceled my interview 90 days ago. So that is definitely going to require some looking into because that is an unusual situation. So get in touch with me, schedule a consultation, and we can talk. I have I-130 approved, but court date is keeping on extending. Tired of it. So Sanjay, I'm so sorry that this keeps going on, and that is true. When you do know that you have a resolution in sight, and the court system right now is terribly backlogged, and I'm so sorry that you're going through that. But I'm glad that you do have this I-130. I understand though you want to get to the end of it. Sassy Move, you're welcome. any luck on marriage base. So it just depends on what's going on in your situation. The average processing time for marriage base is 18 months. So as you can see, even you're in this case, the I-130 marriage base I-130, the 1 week to 7 months is a pretty good number, because right now the entire marriage base process is, well, for the I-130, I would say the average time is from 9 months to a little over a year. However, with the adjustment of status marriage base, it's about 18 months. So great questions so far. I also want to let you know that I'm heading over to Instagram at 9:30 to take additional questions there. So if I do have to leave, I'm still here, still taking questions. But when I do have to leave, we don't have to end the conversation here. You can hop on over to Instagram with me at 9:30 to continue the conversations, continue your questions if I don't get to you. There is a link in my bio. You can click on the link and it will take you to the Instagram where you can follow me and then continue the conversation. If you had received a one-entry visa, do you have to reapply? So yes, so if you received a visa that was just for one entry, you definitely have to reapply for that. Please, can you travel with travel documents that comes with the work permit? So yes, there are combo cards that do have the serve as a travel document as well. Whether you can travel, it really depends on your circumstances and what exactly you're concerned about. Make sure you get legal advice before doing anything, especially where you have a concern. Keep putting those questions in the comments while I'm here. I am also talking about a particular topic that I think would interest some individuals, especially if you're here without your papers, and that is to apply for status and permanent residence in the United States, also a work permit. If you're being mistreated by certain qualifying relatives, those are going to be the U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse or a parent. No, if it's a parent, you have to be under 25 to apply for this. However, if you're the parent of a U.S. citizen 21 and up, this could also qualify you if you're being mistreated. I talked about the types of mistreatment. That is not just physical abuse. It includes verbal, emotional, anything that's considered abusive or extreme cruelty can qualify you for a Vawa and work permit, SSN, and permanent residence, eventually permanent residence in the United States. So this is how the process works. Once you've determined that you qualify for this based on the mistreatment or the extreme cruelty, you would submit your application, and then as soon as it is approved, you could get your work permit and then adjust status in the United States. In some cases, you are able to apply for this type of petition and adjust status all at once. When you are the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, that means you're the spouse of a U.S. citizen, or you're divorced from a U.S. citizen you're divorced from a U.S. citizen who is and you've been divorced for less than 2 years and that spouse mistreated you, you could still qualify for this. So that is also another thing that many individuals don't know. Sometimes they get out of the relationship rightfully, of course, to escape the abuse, and they think that there is no way they leave without status, and they think there's no way to figure out a way on their own when there is. So please, can you travel? Okay, so I answered that already. So keep putting those questions in the comments. Keep in mind that I'm going to be hopping over to Instagram soon, and so you can also hop on to Instagram. You can tune in if you want to continue the conversation, or you can continue to ask your questions there. I'm still here though, and so I'm going to finish up my topic on Vawa. What is the Vawa process? So I talked about Vawa. It's applying for permanent residence and status work permit in the United States based on mistreatment by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse or parent or citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up. If you qualify for this, you would be able to get status in the United States even if you cross the border without permission. That means you don't have any papers, you never did have papers in the United States, you never came into the country with a visa. If that crossing the border without permission was somehow related or correlated with the abuse. Also, if you are out of status, your visa expired, this also does still offer a solution without you involving your abusive relative. They will not be notified of this. This is completely confidential, and they are not required to sign off on any documents for you to get this. The type of evidence that you have to show is, one, if you can show a detailed declaration that is credible, then this could be a way. And credible means that you have believable evidence, because in this case, any evidence that is believable to the officer, meaning it's credible, then the officer will consider it as evidence. And the more credible it is, of course, then the more credible it is, and the more powerful it is as evidence. Can you please tell me how long it takes to get work permit after done with the biometrics? So because the biometrics have been erratic, I wouldn't be able to tell you the timeline between the biometrics appointment and the work permit, but I can tell you that from the date of filing, it's taking an average of 6 to 8 months. However, me saying 6 to 8 months isn't going to mean that it's going to happen in your case. It really depends on your situation, where is it being processed, and so forth. So keep putting those questions in the comments. So far, these have all been great questions, and this is exactly why I'm here. I am going to get ready to head over to Instagram. So if you want to continue this conversation, you want to continue asking questions, you can hop on over there by going to the link in my bio. It'll take you to Instagram. I also have the same handle. So does an immigration lawyer cost a lot? So immigration lawyers, just like any other lawyer, is going to be quite an investment for you, of course, because the immigration lawyer they are providing you representation and their expertise in that area. And so I don't know of any such thing as a cheap lawyer, but I know that it is a good investment when you do find a good lawyer. So just like any other lawyer, immigration lawyers are the same. How long would it take to change my status with a U.S. resident spouse? So if you currently have legal status, Trivia Jam, then you could, and you can maintain that status for the duration of the time. It is possible that you could adjust status. However, if you're out of status, then you're going to go through a different process. So this is where I urge you to get a consultation, because you're saying change my status. However, it really depends on your circumstances. And if you are not maintaining your status, if you overstayed your visa, and even if you're here on your visa, it's very unlikely that you would be able to adjust status in the United States with a U.S. resident spouse. However, if you did qualify, it would be about 18 months to 24 months right now. That can change at any time, but the process involving a spouse of a permanent resident is shorter because there's no wait list for the immigrant visa number, but that can change. Trivia Jam, call, schedule a consultation, and we can talk about your options. Because my personal advice to you is really going to depend on where are you, what is your current status, what is even this, how long ago did your U.S. resident spouse get their permanent residence. So call, schedule a consultation. My phone number is all over my videos. So you can always call that number. There is a scheduling coordinator who is available up until 11 p.m. tonight, as well as tomorrow and Friday. So they're available 9:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. to take your calls and schedule the consultation. Also on Saturdays and Sundays, noon to 5 p.m. It's really mandatory on marriage-based green card that couples need to live together all the time. You really would have to come good with a really good explanation as to why you're not living together. Once the officer sees that you are not living together, they will definitely lean on the side of not granting you if you don't provide them good evidence and a good explanation. It doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be denied, but it means that you are going to face an uphill battle with that officer unless you can come really good with stronger evidence to show that you are indeed, you are indeed married. You just have different, you're trying to work through your jobs or your career goals right now. How long does it process to file a waiver for someone who overstayed but left? So you could be looking at as little as 6 months, but even as long as 1.5 years. A trivia jam, so you're living together. So living together doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to qualify for adjustment of status. So definitely, I urge you to get legal advice before you do anything so we can talk about your options. This is exactly what I definitely I urge you to get legal advice before you do anything so we can talk about your options. This is exactly what I do and what your options are. So thanks everyone. I'm heading over to Instagram right now. You can go to the link in my bio. Click on that link if you want to continue the conversation. If you want to ask your questions and you can't make it to Instagram right now, you can see me every night at 9 p.m. right here. So just mark the time and come on. Be sure to come on. Make sure you're following me and come on at 9 p.m. to join me and to continue to ask questions. Thanks again for your questions. And once again, if you need a legal consultation, because all the information I gave you tonight was general information, if you need a personal consultation, definitely call. My number is all over my videos, or go to the link in my bio, schedule with the scheduling coordinator. Thank you, Jay Hind, and it's always nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you. If I don't see you on Instagram, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.